The following is a paid program by Gary C. Johnson, attorney at law. Welcome to Simply the Law, the program that gives you free legal information, brought to you by the law office of Gary C. Johnson. Hello everyone, welcome into Simply the Law. I'm Keith Casebold, and what a privilege it is to introduce my friend and the host, Gary C. Johnson.
It's just great to be here. Well, folks, how you doing? It's another Tuesday. We've lived another week. Are you surprised at this age? No, I'm just kidding you. Just think how wonderful it is that we're alive, that we can visit with each other, that you folks will let me come and visit with you. Even if I bring Keith, you're still letting me come and visit with you. Can you imagine that? Isn't that wonderful? Thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing us to come into your home and visit with you. I see you folks all the time. You come up to me when you see me out and you say, well, I've watched your show. And I just go, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So thank you. I can't say it any other way. Thank you so much for letting us visit with you. Hopefully I'm going to give you some information that will be of enough benefit to you to make you not change your channel. At least I'll try. But I've got something that I'm going to talk to you about right now that Keith Casebold doesn't even have a clue I'm going to talk to you about it. It's going to surprise him. Keith has just started his own business. It's Casebold Advertising and Marketing, or Marketing and Advertising?
Either one you want to say, Casebold Marketing.
And I want to take this time on this program for Keith to tell you what it is in case any of you may need his services. I mean, I think he's great. I mean, I would recommend him to anybody in the world. Even though I talk about him a lot, but that's okay. And if there's any of you out there that has anything like that, I really think you might want to talk to Keith, because he is nothing short of brilliant, in my opinion. And so, Keith, tell them what your business is, even though I didn't tell you I was going to do this.
My goodness, Mike. I always say you never cease to amaze me, but I take that back. Total surprise. Gary's right. I've opened a company. It's Casebold Marketing, and after 30 years, and that's hard to believe, in radio and television, I'm working with some selected clients, and right here is one that is my dear friend, and I'm afraid sometimes he gets confused thinking that he's my therapist, because I come to him with all of my issues and my problems, but he's my dear friend, and I've learned so much from him, and I'm enjoying working with him and working with all the media of Eastern Kentucky, and also Danny Van Hoos and Gerald Robinette, my good friends at Appalachian Wireless. So I've just opened up a company, and brand new, and couldn't do it without the support and the confidence of my friends and people like Gary Johnson.
One other thing, you were chairman of something important last year. What was that?
Well, I had a chance to be the chairman of the Kentucky Broadcasters Association. I'm the past chairman this year, and what a wonderful opportunity it was to help with the broadcasters of Kentucky, and also be chairman of the Kentucky Alliance of Radio and Television. So from Paducah to Pikeville, I've met so many good people and made so many good contacts in the industry that it's been a real blessing to me. And to have this opportunity to open a company and work with a quality human being like you is really a dream come true.
The other thing is, if you want to call and get a hold of Keith, he didn't give you his number, which I'll have him give you in a minute. You can call our office and go to Carolyn Justice, and she'll get you in touch with Keith, because now if you want to call and quarrel at him, don't call, okay? If you want to badmouth him, don't call.
Thank you, sir.
If you think you might need his business or something to do with his business, then it's okay to call.
I appreciate it.
Give us the number, then we'll move on.
Well, actually, you can call me if you want. It's 606-218-1198, and I'm looking forward to it, and I appreciate that. This was awful kind of you, and a big surprise. I got to tell you that.
Okay, tonight, what we're going to talk about tonight in regard to the law. We are going to talk some more about insurance. Now, why do I keep coming back to this week after week after week on these programs? You're going to say, "Gary, you beat this to death." No, I've not. And the reason I haven't beat it to death is because there's too many people still coming into my office that don't have a clue what I'm talking about, or what insurance is, or what they have, or how it works, or anything. So I'm going to talk to you some more tonight, a little bit about insurance, simply because I think it's important that I do so. And so those of you that know it, you just smile and say, I already know that. And those of you that don't, you'll need to get your policies out and look at them and make sure you have the things that we're talking about. Now, it's easy for me to sit here and talk to you about insurance and what you need, and you're sitting there on a fixed income and saying, I can only afford X, Y, and Z. So when I talk to you about insurance, I'm saying to you, if you can afford it, you need certain things like underinsurance. But if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. It's just that simple. It's the best insurance buy there is. It's better than a burial fund or anything else, in my opinion, to have the underinsurance on your policy. The other things that you run into that I see all the time is the mystery of the courthouse. You as taxpayers, through your hard labor and your work and paying taxes, built every courthouse in this state. You did. They are there for your benefit and no one else's. And the people own the courthouses. It's not the elected officials. It's not the people that pretend they're in charge of everything. It's the people. And there's only one reason they have those courthouses. It's for your safety. So that you can be safe in your homes from criminals, because that's where criminals are tried. And where you can go and report to a jury if someone has harmed you through their negligence. And I want to say this again. There is no other authority that you can report to other than a jury when you're hurt in a car wreck, or you're hurt from a bad drug, or you're hurt from a product that didn't do what it was supposed to do. There is no other authority you can report that to in our nation than the American jury in that courthouse, which was there for your safety. To get to that courthouse and to make that report, you have to hire an attorney that does that type of work. An attorney that is what they call a plaintiff's attorney. In other words, if you're trying to make a report to the jury about what was done to you, you have to hire a lawyer to do that. A lawyer that does plaintiff's work, such as myself, and there's lots of good plaintiff's lawyers out there, especially here in Eastern Kentucky. I'm talking to you about the system and why it works is the way it is. Now, you have to file the lawsuit against the person that harmed you. That person will have insurance that should cover your damages. You should not have to file a lawsuit if the insurance company comes forward and says it's going to pay you for your losses. Guess what? You're going to have to file a lawsuit if you're hurt. And the reason you're going to have to file a lawsuit if you're hurt is the insurance company is not going to do what they're supposed to do under their contract of insurance. They're not. They don't.
Gary, let me ask you a question. I mean, and first of all, your opening statement was one of the most empowering things I've ever heard. We walk into a courthouse and we're almost embarrassed, ashamed. You just said, that's our building. We put those officials in here. This is my place. I get to access it. Very empowering. But when you're talking about the lawsuit, constantly I have people ask me this question. Why do I have to sue the person? Why isn't my lawsuit against their insurance company? Why am I suing a person that I know or a person in the community who's a good person? Why do I have to do that?
We have what the law is supposed to be straightforward and give you all of the information right, and you're supposed to know everything? Well, guess what? Not so. We have a legal fiction in this state and in every state in the country, as far as I know, that says you have to sue the insurance, not the insurance, but the individual, rather than the insurance company that's going to ultimately be paying. And the fiction is that, well, you're less you may be more likely to get more money if it's an insurance company. The jury might. That's not true. A jury gives the money. They don't give anything, I guess. They find the damages to be what they are, whatever they are. It doesn't matter who the defendant's going to be. But if it's a really good person, the insurance company knows that those damages might be less if that defendant is a mighty fine person. Therefore, the insurance company hides behind the person that caused the harm to try to get the sympathy for that person so that they can save the insurance dollars. It's that simple. You sue a doctor, who do you think defends him? It's his insurance. Nothing more than insurance. You say, well, I don't want to hurt that doctor. Well, hurt that doctor? You may hurt some insurance company. But that's the bottom line. Well, if you sue a lawyer, who do you think's defending the lawyer? His insurance company is.
So let me see.
That's the way it works.
Let me see if I got this straight. My own brother, if my own brother is in a vehicle and he comes around the curve coming up the hill to our mountain home, and I'm coming down and I try to get out of the way, but he runs into me and he's at fault. You're telling me under the law I've got to sue my own flesh and blood, my own brother, in order to access the insurance?
You have to sue your brother. Let's say you're driving down the road and your husband does something stupid and hurts you, or your spouse does something stupid in the driving and hurts you. Guess what? You got to sue them to get to the insurance. It's just that simple. That's the way it works. And do you think the insurance company is going to come forward and say, we're going to write you a check because we know you're hurt through their negligence? Doesn't happen that way. Not in the real world. Therefore, you have lots of lawsuits. Lots of lawsuits. Now, are those lawsuits frivolous? Or are they legitimate lawsuits where they are literally being defended with frivolous defenses? Is what you if you, out of every 100,000 lawsuits, I guarantee you there might be one that's frivolous from the plaintiff's side, and I guarantee you there would be 80 or 90% of them that is putting on frivolous defenses, hoping that a jury will turn them loose and not hold them accountable. Now, that's the statistics that I run into in my firm. But in the real world, and it's all backwards from what people are being taught, that courthouse, and the reason we have it, is for your benefit, and it belongs to you. And it is the only place. You can't go report it to the police. You can't go report it to the governor. You can't report it to the president. It doesn't do any good. If someone harms you or a corporation harms you, the only place you get to report it to and ask that there be an accounting for what happened is before an American jury in a courtroom, in the courthouses that you own. That's the real system. It's not the system that people would make you want to believe that is out here running everything. It's running everything for the people that's doing harm. It's running everything because insurance companies are going to have to pay some money that they've taken the premiums to pay. Whether it's holding drug companies accountable for bad drugs they put on the market, or corporations that have put bad products on the market, yes, it's running it for them. But trust me, it's not harming you. It's all you got. I can't say this in any other way. This system of justice, the jury system, is all you've got to keep you safe when someone hurts you. And if they can talk you into letting that go, they can do anything they want with no hope of being held accountable. And you will be the one suffering. That's what I wanted to talk to you about when we first started this program, because it's so important that you understand the system and how it works.
I got a couple of questions for you.
Let's take a break.
Let's take a break. We'll be back with Gary's phone numbers and everything else, and two very important questions that you don't want to miss, because he's going to have the answer for them. More with Gary C. Johnson on Simply the Law right after this. Simply the Law with Gary C. Johnson. We'll be back in just a moment.
I'm Gary C. Johnson. If you've been hurt in a wreck, you need a talented team to help you put your life back together. For more on the talented team we have put together, go to GaryCJohnson.com and click on Attorney Profiles.
Call the law office of Gary C. Johnson at 1-800-337-4002.
At the Gary C. Johnson Law Firm, we make our living helping people put their lives back together. We want to represent you. Give us a call.
Welcome back to Simply the Law. Until you've explained that, what you just went through, I've heard people, and I've even said it myself, I can't believe that this person is suing so-and-so. They're such a good person. They're a great community leader. They're a good guy. Why would they do that? Now I realize it's only to access the insurance, but Lord, the emotional burden they must carry for having to do this awful thing. And then the other thing, Gary, we're in the Bible Belt. The Bible does speak about not going to law against your brother. What kind of effect is that having on the person who's injured at no fault of their own?
Well, I've taught seminars all across this country to other attorneys, and one of the things that I tell them, and I'm serious when I say it, you need to look at the impact of the lawsuit on your client as an element of damage in your case. In other words, why did they have to file a lawsuit? What trauma emotionally has it done to them for having to be involved in a lawsuit? What has it done to their sense of who they are as a person that would never, ever, ever sue someone, yet they're forced to sue someone because they will be destitute if they don't? The lawsuit itself is a damage, in my opinion. And it took me years to figure that out. This isn't something that just magically come. I've been in this business 30-some years, and I'm telling you, I've watched the toll that a lawsuit takes on good, decent people. And it is not a nice thing to see. It will absolutely cause them all kinds of problems emotionally, from being able to, for their neighbors knowing that they're in a lawsuit, for their friends knowing they're in a lawsuit, the stigma of being in a lawsuit. It's hard for people that are good, decent, honest people that want to do the right thing, that's never asked for anything in this out of this life except what they could earn by the sweat of their brow, to be forced to file a lawsuit because an insurance company won't do what they should do, and especially if they have to file a lawsuit against someone they know or another individual. It is awful to put those people in that position, but yet that's where these people find themselves. We need to go to the computer, or otherwise I'm going to run out of time and not get anything done. Okay? There's our number. You can text us. There's the app. If you want to download it, just go to the web page. I'm going to move fast. In general, make sure you have underinsurance that protects you and your family. Arbitration. I'll talk to you for just a minute about arbitration. This is where they are asking you to give up your right to use your courthouse. And when you give up your right to use your courthouse and sign that you're going to let an arbitrator, a quote independent arbitrator who is paid by the people that did their harm to you, decide whether you recover, it's over. You're not going to get anything.
Gary, I've asked from time to time, because I do the program with you, I'll ask people, so why would you sign an arbitration agreement? The number one answer that I get back is, well, it cuts the attorney out and you don't have to pay the attorney fee.
It's not true. If you go to arbitration, you still have to have a lawyer. That didn't cut the lawyer out. In fact, most arbitration agreements that they have you sign says, oh, we'll pay the cost of the arbitration. You don't say anything about paying the cost of your attorney. Now, why would they pay the cost of the arbitration?
No, that's a good question.
You know why? That's all they're ever going to pay. Whatever it costs to do the arbitration, they're not worried about losing any money at the arbitration because they know what's going to happen. A jury got no dogs in the fight, gets $12.50 a day, not even enough to buy their lunch. They don't know anyone. Their only role is to do what they think is fair and right based upon the evidence that's put in front of them. They are beholding to no one. They're not worried about getting more business from the people. They're not worried about getting more business from this big company that's doing arbitration after arbitration after arbitration. The jury, what better place in the world to have your decision made for you on what happened than 12 good, decent people that are there for no other reason in the world other than to do the right thing. Without any money involved for them whatsoever.
Did I just kind of hear you say that the jury has a term limit? They're only there to do the job and then they're gone? This is not a lifetime deal?
No, I think they're just there for whatever days the jury's there, and you don't want to give that up because it is your own safety you're forfeiting. It's your own hope, only hope for accountability. When I said a while ago about reporting, you can't report anything to an arbitrator and expect to get anything out of it. That's crazy. He's being paid by the other side. I mean, what do you think he's going to do? And he gets case after case after case by the same people that's paying him. So you think he's going to be impartial and take care of you? There's no way. Not in this lifetime. Maybe in another one, in a more perfect world, that would happen. Once you sign an agreement to arbitrate, you have given up your right to hold the other side accountable for anything they do to you. Period. And guess what? You're probably not going to have a lawyer in your arbitration because you won't find one that'll take it because they can't win it. Okay? Let's take a break and we'll come right back.
Gary, you make some really, really good points. We're going to take a final break. We'll be back to wrap up tonight's program. We hope you'll stay with us. More with Gary C. Johnson, Simply the Law, right after this. Simply the Law with Gary C. Johnson. We'll be back in just a moment.
I'm Gary C. Johnson. If you've been hurt in a wreck, you need a talented team to help you put your life back together. For more on the talented team we have put together, go to GaryCJohnson.com and click on Attorney Profiles.
Call the law office of Gary C. Johnson at 1-800-337-4002.
At the Gary C. Johnson Law Firm, we make our living helping people put their lives back together. We want to represent you. Give us a call.
Welcome back to Simply the Law. Folks, don't panic, but I think he's made this so clear that even Casebolt here understands it. If I'm an arbitrator and I work for big company X over here, and if I start finding that they're wrong, I'm going to get fired. So the only way to keep my job with big company X is to continually find that they're right and the injured person is wrong.
That's right. That's what I've been preaching on this thing. And it's not for my benefit or it's not for any lawyer's benefit. It's for your benefit. Once you sign that arbitration agreement, it's over. Now, hopefully they won't do anything harm to you to where you would need to file anything against them. When people bring their medical records to us to look at anymore, the first thing I look for is to see if there's an arbitration agreement in it. If there's an arbitration agreement in it, we give them back to the people. We don't even go any further. There's no need to. It's over. Period.
It's over in the sense that you can't help them.
I can't do anything for them. Can't do anything. I don't trust the arbitrators. I just don't trust them. They wouldn't be getting the job if they were going to be fair, is my opinion. That's my opinion, for whatever it's worth. So we can pick them. And the other side gets to pick them.
This comes back, Gary, to your scenario of the wolf being over the herd of the sheep.
Right.
He's got rid of the sheepdogs.
And why would you spend a bunch of money putting a case together, and it costs a whole lot of money to put a lawsuit together, and let anybody fool you, especially if it's a complicated, any type of complicated where you have to hire experts, because there's one thing experts has learned, and it's how to make money. Experts know how to make money, trust me. And when you try to hire one of them because you have to have it to meet a technicality, they're going to really take you to the cleaners. They do. Especially in any type of medical negligence case, it's almost impossible to get a medical negligence case of any kind done from a plaintiff's side for less than $100,000, $150,000 out of the lawyer's pocket. Period. Now, why would somebody spend that kind of money to go in front of an arbitrator that they pretty well know is going to rule against them? At least you got a shot with a jury. And that jury is going to do what they think's right. So why would you give that up? And nobody is going to force you to sign an arbitration agreement. You just don't do it. I'm telling you, folks, don't sign an arbitration agreement, whether it's in a nursing home admission, whether it's a hospital admission, whether it's in some sort of co-lease that somebody's doing with you, whether it's a contract you're doing with somebody else, unless you're the big guy. Now, if you're the big guy, get them to sign an arbitration agreement. Put it in your contracts and have them sign it, and then you're okay.
Well said.
But if you're the little guy, don't sign an arbitration agreement.
Well said. Well said. My friend, thank you for the information. Hopefully, from the empowering statement that Gary made, you realize the courthouse was built by your tax money. The people that are in there are your servants, and the jury is there to protect you. My friend, great information. Really was. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's program. On behalf of my good friend Gary C. Johnson, I'm Keith Casebolt. We look forward to seeing you again next week, right here on Simply the Law.